those doves before they fly away and hold down R1 while still in the air. You can make Wander grab onto one and hang there for a few seconds. You feel pretty bad about it afterward though, or at least I do after seeing how hard the bird struggles to take flight. Moving on, for our next Colossus, Dorman had this to say. A giant has fallen into the valley. It acts as a sentry to a destroyed city. Exciting stuff, and as always, it gets your imagination going. It was honestly so long ago that I can't even remember the general time frame or year when I first did this, but it must have been sometime around 2007 or 8, when I felt the urge during one of my replays of this game to seek out discussions and see if there was anyone as crazy about the game as I was. And that led me to learn that my appreciation of this game was nowhere near the level of dedication that I saw from many others. The first place I navigated to was the official PlayStation forums for Shadow the Colossus, and it quickly became clear that, when supplemented with YouTube, I would never have to find another site again. Tons and tons of discussion threads were on display, almost all of them asking extremely interesting and thought-provoking questions about the world, the lore, and everything in between. I must have spent chunks of several hours just skimming them, but at the top was the Holy Grail. A thread aptly titled, Quest for the Last Big Secret / Mysteries of SOTC. I couldn't possibly venture a guess as to how many posts were in that thread when I found it so many years ago, but thankfully it's still up now, and the thread boasts a staggering 5,600 replies. I'll put a link in the description for your enjoyment, and I do mean your enjoyment. It's crazy to see how these discussions played out coming up on a decade ago now. So many people proposing theories and ideas in such passionate, concise ways. It really is a sight to behold, and in my personal opinion, one of the neatest showcases of its kind in gaming. I didn't bring this up specifically to talk about the forum, though I highly suggest checking it out. What I really wanted to mention were the ever-creative YouTubers that have devoted countless hours and effort into dissecting every centimeter of Shadow the Colossus' game data in all of its forms. Though now it's been proven that there is no huge final mystery to be solved, that didn't stop these people from continuing to produce creative takes on the game and share theories. Two specifically of note that I felt created quality Shadow the Colossus videos are Pickle Uploader and Nomad Colossus. Specifically, I would direct you to Nomad's videos, as Pickle Uploader has a lot of unrelated videos and hasn't been very active in quite some time, but still has a lot of videos that you should check out. Of particular note is Pickle's Big Secret video, where he actually discovered a fully rendered and textured dam within the actual game world of Shadow the Colossus, just sitting there beneath the land that you actually walk on. Also, his Exploring in Reminiscence Mode video. Nomad is on a whole other level though. His 200 plus videos are almost all related to Shadow the Colossus or Eco in some way or another. To get you started, you just have to watch his Mystery of the Desert Rings video, which details a theory pertaining to phalanx. In addition, I'd recommend his Colossus Sizes montage and all of his exploring videos. Literally all of them, you cannot go wrong. He even discovered a way to explore the areas exclusive to cutscenes. It's crazy. And in case I didn't give off the impression, the videos do contain lots of spoilers if you haven't seen all of the games. While I was gushing, we reached the boss arena, so now I can go back to gushing about the game itself. The foreboding fortress stands tall amidst the sands, and once you enter, the scale of it makes for an even more ominous atmosphere. Tons of eyes textured onto the bricks stare neutrally at you, and you won't find this design or one like it anywhere else in the game, to my knowledge. A collapsed pillar prevents aggro from joining us, so unfortunately we'll have to leave her behind. I like to call this the Grand Staircase. It feels like something built for giants, and I love that about it. The way way pretty much everything in this area towers above you is extremely memorable, especially for someone like myself that pretty much exists to pan cameras upwards in video games. This Colossus is known only as Monkey Man. Nah, I'm just kidding, his name is Argus, and holy crap, just look at the size of this monster. His entrance scene is without a doubt a contender for my favorite of them all. He has quite the gift of panache, slowly throwing one hand up before the other, and then launching himself up and into the arena before a frightful roar. Just to forewarn you before it becomes painfully obvious, I was kind of remembering how to fight Argus by ear, so forgive me for any frustrating slowness. I remember this 15th Colossus quite fondly, as my first attempt at fighting him was a complete train wreck. I had no idea what to do for the longest time, to the point where I recall grappling with this encounter for over 30 minutes. That may of course be my admittedly poor memory bloating it with a healthy dose of hyperbole, but it definitely feels on point to my recollection. Using the stomp to guide our way, we have to sit here at this dead-end second floor without an obvious way to progress. Getting here was the easy part. For whatever reason, he seemed to be the most ignorant I've ever seen him, to the point where I had to nail him with who knows how many arrows just to get him to strike our little shelter here and reveal the way forward. He was so hesitant to attack that I thought I was misremembering what to do and tried to climb up on my own. It was probably because I kept inadvertently hiding behind a pillar. Maybe Argus hasn't fully developed object permanence yet. Up here is great, and it makes me wonder what this area could have been used for within the context of the world in the past, and to this day I still am not sure. I don't doubt that a place like this could have a specific purpose, but nothing that makes sense logistically comes to mind. Given how wide and long the path is, honestly it makes me think it'd be a pretty great venue for a parade, but given that the only float-sized objects in the Forbidden Lands are colossi, maybe you should just catch that one on TV. Argus's sigils is clear. I'd like for you to take a second and imagine just how terrifying it was for me on my first playthrough to have Argus walk up as I was preparing for my jump onto his head, only to hit me dead on with his sword, reducing the bridge to a fine dust and sending me careening to the ground with just a tiny bit of trauma. I would recognize that animation anywhere. Barba continues to haunt us from beyond the grave. Luckily, this arena isn't anywhere near as dull and has the short but fun platforming leading up to the pretty vantage point before jumping onto the boss. I barely got a single hit in before he suddenly disappeared from beneath Wander's feet. I did my best to hang on to his belt, but there was no hope at that point, even if I wasn't forced to let go. Right off the bat, my second attempt was much more successful. Argus practically gave the win to me. What? A second sigil, and at such low HP as well? What nonsense is that? Argus does indeed have a second excruciatingly well-hidden vital point that isn't even readily available until you find another weak spot that reveals it to you. Even if you were trying to find it blindly, Dorman wastes no time in suggesting your next course of action, though, so it isn't too challenging to progress. Wander can thank his lucky stars that stabbing Argus there made him drop his sword for some reason and not attempt the universe's most earth-shattering flying elbow drop. Strangely, the music completely cut out for that scene, and I kind of really liked that. I wish the game muted its audio or background noise more often to increase the simulated impact of certain Colossus actions, or something to that effect. Now it's time to get to the thing so we can stab it. Standing at the correct distance will provoke Argus into doing an attack that only becomes available to him after he drops his sword. I let go so that I could make my way down to the fur and the sigil faster, since the game wanted to make Wander grip the cuff instead, but it didn't pan out how I wanted. Let's hope that the second time is more forgiving. This would make for one sad conclusion to a parade, but it pushes Wander closer to his goal, as every Colossus before Argus has. It won't be long now until Wander's task is fulfilled and he can finally leave the Forbidden Lands. I hope to see you back for the 10th and final video. Thanks for watching.